SCP-102. Object Class: Argus. Footnote 1. Items containment is currently under the purview of a third party. Special Containment Procedures. Because SCP-102 is currently owned by GOI-12 through a deed independent of eminent domain, containment efforts are to be focused towards minimizing public knowledge of it to reduce its profitability. Footnote 2. Owned by Marshall Carter and Dark Ltd, an anomalous goods and services broker. Description: SCP-102 is a mansion located at
Redacted.
currently maintained by the shell corporation known as Geyser Housing Associates. It is marketed as a week-long stay for those with tastes in the invisible adventures of privileged life. Primarily, though, the use of online advertisements targeting impulsive, high-net-worth spenders. Booking a stay at SCP-102 will cause a key to manifest in the pocket of the payer. When a person who is not the key holder enters SCP-102, its interior appears as that of a severely dilapidated home, damaged by rust, dry rot, and termites. However, when the key holder enters via unlocking the front door, they will find themselves in a tidy, well-kept interior decorated following suburban design trends from the 1960s. Remaining in SCP-102 as the key holder for more than 1 hour causes said key holder to become capable of at-will invisibility and intangibility, allowing them to move through objects unimpeded. This effect lasts for the duration of the stay or until they leave SCP-102 for more than a day, whether by their own choice or through being forcibly removed. Staying invisible for longer than the duration of their stay removes the effect of intangibility, an event detectable by the
Redacted.
thaumatic sensors installed inside of SCP-102 by GOI-12. Footnote 3. These sensors have not yet detected the Foundation's presence and are not to be disturbed under any circumstances. Addendum 102.01. On August 12, 1989, an unusual radio signal was detected emanating from SCP-102. Upon analysis, the signal was determined to originate from SCP-102's current resident, undetectable by the wider population due to being turned into an impossible radio station. Footnote 4. FM. The signal transcripts have been provided below as they give context into how a keyholder could interact with and utilize SCP-102's capabilities. Timestamp: August 12, 1989, 10:38 p.m. Is this thing on? God, it's happening again. Losing my mind or whatever one wants to call it. And I shouldn't be. Not like this. Not when the new Marshall and Carter hairs are coming into their own. Where have my years gone? Coming here to get away from it all. What does that make me in their eyes? What will they think of when they hear my name, my position? Why can't they understand my importance to this company? Will they see me in the way Dark does? As some asset, accountant, a tool to be used, all with a few annoying drawbacks? This house is far too empty, but it's not a place where I can think. I know it's all illusion, but I don't care. I just need my head to be quiet. I need my thoughts to wear like my old clothes again. The clothes I had from way back when, under chapel, under the spirit. Under. I miss that bastard. I miss that enigmatic look in his eye, the devious ambition in his face when he had to get down to work. There was something about him. We browbeat Capone back so many times, and for what? For what? For us to go out with a whimper? A waffle? Sniffle? For a whole gang to fall apart? For me to end up... Hogarth, why do you stutter like a kid? Get it together. You're not some vermin. Not like the people who live in houses like this. I think I'll have my driver take me out to...
Redacted.
Tomorrow. Perhaps I can find something interesting there. Footnote 5. Redacted per request of Site Director Araya Tate. Timestamp: August 13th, 1989, 11:57 p.m. Slipping through walls makes me think about the house. It feels like being unreal. Sends chills through me. Being nothing like that. I wonder if that's included in the disclaimer people sign for the key. It wouldn't surprise me if there's more side effects that the paperwork doesn't mention.
Redacted.
It's about as I expected. I stood there in the living rooms of rich HOA types, the sort of places with no life, only whitewashed surfaces and smooth polish. Places of scandal hidden behind exotic furniture that's there just to brag about how much dough you got. No quality. It's all overblown value, no craftsmanship. The 60s were better than this, I tell you. These types have existed for as long as wealth has been a thing. I certainly haven't seen them change in the over a century I've been around. And I'm one of them, but I didn't ask to be here. I didn't ask Dark for employment. He took me. Took me when I was at my... What's more dishonest than these homes and appearances is them thinking they're good, holy, good Christian men and women. I saw family today, a stay-at-home wife, a couple of kids. The husband wasn't away at work, though. He was away at the hospital. At least that's what makes the most sense, based on letters of condolences and good wishes on the living room table, and the wife leading her kids in prayer for dear old dad. I'm not going to speculate on what's ailing him. Probably something bad. Probably something the company could cure. It's the prayer that's getting to me, crawling into my head like mice in a rotting wall. To think that God cares. It's a foolish idea. God doesn't care if he exists at all. I wish I knew whether he was somewhere up there, or maybe down here in this pigsty with us, or whether he existed at all. Maybe we killed him. Maybe Percival killed him and ate him long before I was born. Either way, God abandons everyone when things get bad. The God I prayed to in the trenches never did anything about the Great War. Not the starvation, the famines, not the endless hours of waiting for hell to come, not the gas that clung to your uniform and burned you long after you'd fled. Nor did he step in when the politicians decided they hadn't had enough and the second war came around. He hasn't taken me or anyone of my ilk down from the top of the ladder either. That mistake's probably going to cause some other war, isn't it? Europe has supposedly made peace with itself, but I don't believe those idiots for a second, personally. To think I almost took vows for him. I bet he's not one to intervene much past the Old Testament, but as time goes on, it feels more and more like it's just his faithful covering for him, if I was covering for him. And yet, for all the thorns in my heart, Kids. Why am I... Stop. Just stop. A stained suit is the last thing I need. Why won't this... Screw it. I always come back to you, don't I? And to think some powder is the only one who cares. Timestamp, August 14th, 1989, 9:17 a.m. This house feels like it's watching me. Every window into my soul, every closet into my heart. Haven't touched most of it yet. Do I deserve to? In and out and in and out. They don't know I'm in their living room. A ghost in the walls like their machine circuitry sneaking through their house. It should amuse me. Make me feel more. But it doesn't. And this sort of thing used to. It used to back when Chapel was installing refrigerators in his home. When the dock boys were experimenting with new ways to keep their catch fresher longer for restaurants. I watched every new home machine pop up and excite the masses. Excite even rugged old men like us. Finally, we could keep ice without needing a cantrip on our person, or a spell glad to freeze your hand off if the ink rubbed you in the wrong way. I've lived too long. I shouldn't be here. I don't know if I can wish myself dead. But this contract, Dark's contract, it bleeds me into myself. Into the cracks and corners of my brain, where death should have come but hasn't. The years are beginning to slur silently as silt does on a sandbed, and it just makes me wonder. It makes me wonder if I'll be a person by the time my extra time's up, by the time the spell has come up and gone. Why did I say yes? Dark, tell me, why did I say yes to you? You remember better than I do. Unlike me, you were sober. My work is all that keeps me together, now. But the employees view me as one does a mangy coyote, a squirrel electrocuting itself on a power line. I can't help but wonder if they're waiting for me to encounter the same fate. If they see my body as naught but dust, trickling down over account receivables and margin equity. How much time do I have left? You gave me the exact number, but how much longer can my soul keep up? Will you mourn me when I'm gone? Will anyone? Timestamp, August 15th, 1989, 12:35 p.m. Your dirty little habits you think when nobody is watching. It's funny, isn't it? People get messy when the eyes leave, at least in their mind. It entertained me when I was younger, but now, it only reminds me of how empty the world is. Has become. Reality isn't much better. This houseman looks like any other in the neighborhood. Lets me do something others already do halfway with ephemeral gossip and proper positioning. Something I used to do. Better than I do now. This man I watched today, he lives about 15 miles from here. He's keeping this awful little thing from his wife, doing coke because his performance in bed and at work is lacking. He takes his boss yelling at him and then comes home in the most ungrateful ingrate of a house. If only he'd stop and think. Realize that's only going to make things worse. Gonna send you spiraling down a drain you'll never crawl out of. Heroin or anything else would be better than cocaine. The shivers, the shakes, the way the mind races. Salaryman's drug, my ass. We were created to work. Work all the time? Whatever, the bill came from him eventually. It'll cut him on the money he burns against the house's equity borrowing to fuel that lifestyle. Everyone's got something messed up in them that we've got to live with. They wonder what it'll look like when his implodes on him. Better to be alone. Better be alone, rely on no one, because what good is family if it's destined to fall apart? No lovers, no God, no nothing. Timestamp, August 16th, 1989, 3:54 a.m. I know I shouldn't. Every addict knows it's a bad thing. Those that don't won't stay like that for long, or if they do, they end up dead. All that progress. I was clean for 11 months. No heroin, no other opiates, nothing. But this house's emptiness just makes my head spin. Teetering over at the edge of a cliff I've been on for Lord knows how long. There's a sick, sticky foam on the sand below me. It won't affect the fall, the landing, I suppose. But I can't help myself. I just had to be there. I needed to be here. I needed to grasp. Something to get away from the ghosts in my head. Nothing else has worked. Not even the new things Percival has me on. The medications, the therapists, the doctors. That's the part they don't tell you. Nothing works to get rid of that hollow nothing in you. You can get clean, tidy up your suit, slick back your hair, but in the end, it won't matter. You'll just ache to be out like a light every day, yearning for the high where you can't care about anything and who you are doesn't really matter. Why do I even try? What am I doing this for? Chapel? Bunch of dead gang members? These therapists have done nothing like they did for me. I was clean. I was clean for more than just a couple of months at a time. I'd been so for years by the time Percival got to us. Got to me. And that's despite all the opium dens we had. It feels ironic to say that out loud, but Chapel gave me things to do. People to talk to. Meaningful work to keep up with. Not the useless numbers game Darky cares about. Always numbers going up and up and up, that's all he makes me do. All he wants me to care about. I've seen gamblers healthier than the heads of this company. I'm reminded of something else now, looking at how high and clean this house ceiling is. Rat Park. Experiment from the 70s. A lot of fear going around that time of what drugs would do to people, so when the experiment came around, word spread. Scientists at the time were testing the addictive effects of drugs by shoving rats alone into cages with nothing but themselves and 2 water bottles, one clean and another one laced with drug. Almost always the rats would favor the drug water, drinking themselves to overdose. But if you've ever had rats in your walls, you know they're social animals. They need other rats. It's how they'll live in the wild. So this other scientist makes an alternate version of the old experiment, putting rats in a larger enclosure, chew toys, hiding places, tunnels to scamper around in, other rats to socialize with, fight with, reproduce, and the same 2 bottles of water. And almost no rat drinks from the drug water this time around. Some take a taste and decide they prefer clean water. Even when the drugged water got sweetened to mask the bitterness, the rats avoided it in favor of the clean. The office parties. They always remind me of how little I have, like those empty cars in the concrete driveways. And they call this excess. They call this living the life? Exchanging formalities and polite smiles? Even the vice doesn't feel real here. Money can't buy what I once knew, what I once had. It can't buy me anything but a box with a drug-laced water bottle. Darky, please, let me leave. Let this house rest. It whispers. It sees. We both know what we see and hear is not what really is. Let my contract lapse. I'm through. I need to find the rats again. I need vice that's real. I need what your money can't get me. These walls are meant to fall, so let them. Time has a job to do. Timestamp: August 17th, 1989, 11:59 p.m. There it was. It was a quiet home. Curtains drawn, lights dim, everything understated. I figured there might be an interesting secret or two hidden there. Maybe an unfaithful spouse or something, right? Maybe in a filthy threesome? And did I find something? I found... Mayor of the town. Handsome, upstanding, black hair, clean cut. Father of 3. Gives half of the disposable income to food banks and charity. Loving relationship with his high school sweetheart of 10 years. I found him having fun with his boyfriend while she was off at the country club. His boyfriend. Pretty lithe thing with a head of red curls. Meeting in the secrecy of the other's home. With black and white silks on, garter belts. Ugh. I wonder for a second if they're going to go all the way. Bring out the leather and whips. That would have been fitting. Perhaps more honest and a better show. So what did they do instead? Just murmured sweet nothings to each other, hoping nobody would hear. Well, call me nobody then, because I'm pretty sure the company would agree with you the moment they don't have to work with me. Sickly sweet, the way they talked. The way those hands touched and touched and touched. That look in his eyes of his, the mayor, ugh. Absolutely smitten. So much he wouldn't have even seen me if he could. Too enraptured to see anything else but him, weren't you? Must think you're the luckiest man in the world. Must think this will last forever. Must think your God can't see you. What are you going to do when he leaves you, when he's gone, when the neighbors see you and rat to the cops, when they take him away? You'll be alone. Best hope your family doesn't hear, or you won't have a shoulder to lean on. Best hope your kids don't see, or else they'll shun you when you're old for being a What'll you do when you're humiliated? Not a soul out there who cares for you. What will you do without him? You look like you love him a lot. The way you cradled his face in your hands, spoke to him soft, toyed with his curls to make him laugh. Why couldn't I do that, Charles? Footnote 6. Likely referring to POI 32, Charles Ferris Derriger, one of the sub-bosses for the Chicago Spirit. Was there something wrong with me? You just wanted to be a man. Didn't want to carry another secret alongside that, but I could have helped. My job was to keep your secrets, keep the damn secrets of everyone in the Spirit. Make sure that nothing but dust found you, that your enemies were blind to the big surprise. You wouldn't be hiding us, what we were, on your own. If only I... Would we have become something if you'd gotten to live a bit longer? Would you have dared love a man? You'd have to hide it, but I could help. If only I died with you, in the Spirit, before Darky got to sink his claws into me. You'd hate me for betraying you, but I was terrified in the moment, high off my ass. I didn't want to feel death again, but I'd gladly take the despair of that now it's over this. What am I meant to do, Charles? What am I meant to do without you? We've been gone for decades. I'm talking to a ghost of you. No. Do I even get that? Please, just come back. Please. Come back, even if it kills me. Timestamp: August 18th, 1989. 7:37 a.m. A loud crashing of glass. Indiscernible cursing follows, echoed by sobbing and the repetition of the word Charles. Everything quiets after 27 seconds of altercation. A small plastic bag rustles as something soft hits the flat surface. Something is crushed into powder, and the sounds of inhaling follow. A long sigh. Come find me if you can, Dark. Last chance, like old times. The rest of the 11-minute and 27-second broadcast is punctuated by snorting, faint laughter, and coughing until something falls off a chair and breaks more glass, triggering the thermotic sensors inside. 10 minutes after the final radio signal ended,
redacted,
armored cars appeared at the scene identified as belonging to GOI-12. POL-12-1 stepped out of the frontmost vehicle, proceeding inside SCP-102 while recorded by on-site surveillance, saying only a single sentence. Troublesome little thing, aren't you, Mr. Cartwright?